Welcome back to Simply Living It. Today's video is all about the Gather Round Homeschool Curriculum. It is one of the things I am very passionate about and I talk a lot about here on YouTube, or I used to talk a lot about it. I used to share the unit studies that we were doing. I used to share book hauls and all the creative things that we were doing alongside Gather Round, and I haven't talked about it in a really long time. I've even had a lot of questions regarding whether we're still using Gather Round or not. The answer to that question is yes. Gather Round has not gone anywhere in our homeschool. Today I want to talk about how we're implementing Gather Round in our homeschool still to this day. We've been using it for 3 years now, and we've had some years where we breeze through the units and it's great. And some years, like this year, we have been moving through the units the pace of a turtle. So let's talk a little bit about that. I just made myself another pot of coffee, and I swear my coffee is so much better when my husband makes it for me. It just doesn't even taste the same when I try to do it on my own. Around homeschool unit studies, I've been, like I said, talking about those, sharing those for a really long time. We are currently working through farming and food through Gather Round. I print these units off myself. I order the digital download and I print off each level for my children. With farming and food specifically, I just use my computer for the teacher's guide. I didn't even bother printing out the teacher's guide this time. We're currently on lesson 12 from farming and food. We started this unit before Christmas, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I think. Does that give you any insight as to how slowly we are moving through this unit? I don't know if I guess it's just life seasons, and I'm trying not to be too hard on myself because I did come out this homeschool year with like an idea of the units that I wanted to tackle and what I wanted to make it through, and careers and trades is on that, living off the land. I also have Underground to Canada right here, and my library finally got the book in to go with it. This one's a novel unit, so we could use this alongside really any unit study that we happen to be doing because it is not a whole unit in and of itself. It's like a novel unit study, a mini unit. So it's more based off of reading aloud together and then kind of dissecting it through the actual workbook itself. So it's a little bit different. It's not as heavy of a load as your typical unit would be, like this one right here. I've shared these flex binders before here. This is one of the ways that I bind our Gather Round units. This has become my favorite way. I've done the 3-ring hole punch. Didn't like it. I've done the happy planner method. Didn't like it. All the pages always seem to fall out. These are the 5-star flex binders, and they're my favorite so far because look, you can fold it over completely. It doesn't ruin the pages. They don't fall out as easily. And then also in the back of the book, there's a bunch of paper. So each of my kids has notebook paper back there. My middle child loves to do his math in the back of it. So it's Gather Round and his math all in one folder. So anyway, those are my favorite. They're flexy, bendy, reusable. They're awesome. I love them. I found them on clearance at Staples for like, I'm not kidding, $1 a piece. I bought all of them that they had because these right now at my local grocery store will be $12 to $13. So I'm so glad that I found those. Keep your eye open for them on discount. I will link them below in case someone's interested. I always get questions about that. So as mentioned, living off the land. So far this year, we have only completed almost two unit studies from Gather Round. That is unheard of for me. No, we are not going at the pace that Rebecca Spooner has laid out for the units because they are not the only thing we do in our homeschool. That is why this year we're moving a little bit slower. My goal was to have completed at least 3 units by now. We are clearly behind on that goal, like by a long shot. But I'm choosing to not focus on that. I'm choosing to not focus on what we have not done yet. I'm choosing to focus on what we have completed, what we have learned. It was so fun. Right around the time that we purchased our 3 Highland calves, we were doing the cattle ranching lesson in farming and food. So that was really cool, actually. I really enjoyed doing that lesson and helping my boys to learn a little bit more about cattle ranching also. So that unit so far and the sheep farming unit have been my favorite. The sheep farming unit mixed with the spiritual take an aspect on that. Oh my gosh, that touched my heart and my spirit so much. That was my favorite so far in farming to food. So I'm excited to finish that unit up. We don't do all the pages in Gather Round. There are a lot of pages that we don't complete because, as you know, here in our home, we make homeschooling work for us. I've done a single experiment out of this unit. It's kind of been one of those seasons where I read the lesson, we talk about it out loud so much more than we write down. That's really been a new season in our homeschool. Gather Round units cover more of the elective side of things in our homeschool. There was a season for us when I had younger kiddos where this was all that we used. We exclusively used Gather Round in our home, and that was it. And I keep holding this up, but it's not helpful to you because it doesn't have a cover. But Gather Round used to be the only thing that we used in our homeschool for a season. And now I've kind of molded and shifted and kind of made it work for us with the things that I also want to be doing. So independent studies, right? Things that we want to do independently, focusing on spelling a little bit deeper with a few of my boys, and some language arts concepts, things like that. So it looks different for everybody. Everybody uses Gather Round different. It's beautiful to do that. I love the freedom and the flexibility to be able to do that. We don't do Gather Round every single day. That is something that is not covered, as you can tell. Hello, if we did, we would have been like right on par with what I wanted to. We would have been exceeding my goal for our homeschool this year. But instead, we are slowly, at the pace of a turtle, moving through things. I still want to complete this homeschool year because I have a goal and I would like to kind of bring that to fruition, if you will. I really want to finish careers and trades, or start careers and trades. My boys are all about trades. So I think that unit study is going to be beautiful in our home. I love that. I'm really, really excited about that one. And that might be what we do next, actually. And then also living off the land. Because we have an off-grid cabin and all of the things, we're all solar, and they really do understand living off the land a bit differently, and no running water, all of the things. I think that unit would be a beautiful one to pair in our homeschool also. So those are kind of tentatively what we're looking at. I am going through and totally picking and choosing what I think my boys are going to be interested in. So I know some people will follow the yearly schedule, like the yearly plan, and go off of it that route. I've totally been picking and choosing. Sometimes we'll do one from year 1, then we'll bounce to year 3, then we'll bounce to year 2. I have not completed all the year 1 unit studies. I've not completed every one from year 2. I still really want to do Africa. We never touched Africa, and I still really want to do that. And also her history units. Her history units look so, so good. And I'm not talking like visually appealing. They do that also, but I really want to dive into her history units. If you've done them, let me know down below. We did the government unit study, and it was a lot for my youngest to take in. So I think we'll revisit that one maybe down the road. I always love her Christmas unit study. That was one we didn't do this year. I'm kind of rambling, but I'm just giving you like a mindset of where I'm coming at from this, standpoint of where we're at in our homeschool and how we make it work in our home. And it is simply something that we bring in. There are books that go with them. We love to add different books to go with the unit studies to make them come to life. There are movie recommendations. We love doing that. A lot of different ways to add and build on these unit studies in your home that are outside of the actual pages and the actual book work. So I'll pick and choose some of the things that I want my boys to do, and we leave out the rest. So we don't complete every single workbook page in the Gather Round unit studies. I love that we can all sit together and read these unit studies together and go through them together. That's what's so beautiful about Gather Round to me. And that was my first window look into the unit study approach to homeschooling. I always wanted to do my own unit studies, but I'm not that girl. I just don't have it in me to put together my own unit studies. So I love that this is already put together for me. It's so incredibly helpful and beneficial to me as a homeschooling mom, and all the work's already done for me. So I love that so much. It's, again, not something that we do every single day. I do try and push our core subjects every day. Those are some of the main things that I want to check off our list of things that we need to get done are our core independent subjects. And then Gather Round is what we do with history here on the couch for our family time, our family subjects. They know when I say we're going to do family subjects, we're meeting at the couch, we're going to do Bible, we're going to do history, and we're going to do Gather Round. That's usually what our family subjects entail. And sometimes that's with our morning basket. So those will at times be lumped together as well. Different seasons of life that you come across. Obviously, we use things differently, all things differently, and we use them to fit our needs at that point in time. So we are still using Gather Round. We still love Gather Round. Nothing has changed on my thoughts, feelings, or opinions of Gather Round. And we're just tweaking it to fit us and to fit our home. We have learned so much through these unit studies and had so many good conversations. And I'm talking getting to the heart and soul of my babies with these conversations. And I'm so thankful for those discussions. because had we not been using this curriculum, some of those discussions may not have taken place. And I just love that. I love that we begin the lesson with a prayer specifically about what we might be learning about. I love that it's so Christ-centered. I love the heart behind Gather Round. I love the meaning of this curriculum. I love that it is Christ-centered. Love that this curriculum points back to Jesus and how he is in everything and created everything and is of everything. And we can see that in all of the lessons through Gather Round. It's truly beautiful. So to answer those questions, for those of you who have been wondering, as I'm talking about simplifying our homeschool, as I'm talking about all of those things these last few weeks, yes, we have simplified. Yes, we have slowed down. We have slowed down our pace. I have slowed down our pace. I am sitting comfortably right now in a place of I'm happy right where we're at. I'm so happy where we're at. I'm so happy with what we're doing. I'm so happy with how far we've come this homeschool year. And yeah, it's slower. It is, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with where we're at. I'm happy with what we've covered in our homeschool this year. I'm so grateful for the conversations that we've had. I'm so grateful for the pieces that are in our home that we have to learn and grow through. I'm finally okay and accepting going at our own pace. And that can be in math, in language, in any single concept that you want to take that in, to sit and rest knowing we're going to go at our own pace. We're going to do what works for us. I'm finally okay with that. Instead of pushing to complete the lessons, trying to follow the schedule when Gather Round was very first released, trying to follow that schedule of completing a unit before the next one came out so that you could complete the next one. And I was trying to stay on pace with that, with her schedule. Her schedule is her schedule as when they're being released. I don't need to stick to that level or that pace. And it was a beautiful thing when I finally realized you don't have to go at that pace. Go at your own pace. Pick your own units that you want. So if you're a Gather Round homeschool mom and you're trying to figure it out, or if you just want to learn more about it, I do have other videos. I just want to do a quick update addressing the units that we've covered because I have gotten questions regarding it. It is a huge part of our homeschool. Gather Round is a huge part of our homeschool, and we are still using it, and nothing has changed there. So just going a little bit slower. I don't share all the things as I used to as far as books and experiments, and I don't feel like that's all necessary to make the curriculum complete. I really don't. If you are a mama who does that, that's awesome. But in this season, I'm just not. I used to get all the books off the book list and send it to the library and have all of it done and ready for our unit to just be great. And I'd order books off Amazon and do all the things. And I'm just right now, we're good. We're good with the unit study, with the actual curriculum. We're good with what we have right in front of us and the books that we already have. So that's kind of where I'm at in this season. I hope that it encourages you where you're at, that what you are doing is enough, that you can do this. And you are doing enough, and you are doing a very good job, and not to be discouraged if there's a bad day. Don't be discouraged if you're going slower. Don't be discouraged if you only get through half of a lesson before your kids are on to something else, so you put the books away. Don't be discouraged. Know that it's okay to go at your own pace. Know that it's okay to slow things down, or it's okay to speed it up. Maybe you're able to do 2 lessons because your kids are so engaged and you're loving it. Maybe you make it fit your home to where you can do it 5 days a week and it's beautiful. I don't know. I don't know what it is for your family, but make it beautiful for your family. You are doing a good job. That's all I have for today's Gather Round update, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.